Hello friends, welcome to Handmade Not Hallmark. Amanda here. I'd like to welcome you to card number 1 of my 2021 Christmas card series. This is the third year that I have created a Christmas card series, and it is one of my most popular and most favorite series to create. This card features one of my favorite images of all, Santa Claus. This die was so fun to create with, and I love the sweet expression on his face. I hope you enjoy this card. Let's get into it. I'm going to be using the Santa's Wish dies from Sizzix and Tim Holtz. This is a wonderful die, a lot of fun to create with. I'm also going to be using the new hand-lettered Christmas background stamp and a Believe stamp from Simon as well. The first thing I want to do is I want to create my background panel that Santa is going to sit in front of. As soon as I saw this stamp set, saw the stamp come out in Simon's, I think this was from Stamp Timber, I just had to have it. It is a beautiful, scripty Christmas text that can be utilized as, a nice background image like I'm going to be using here. It could be used as a main focus, anything like that. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing like watermark inking, and basically what that is I'm going to be taking some embossing ink and I'm just kind of haphazardly stamping it on the back of or onto this background panel, excuse me. And I want it to look kind of like it's old paper. That was the idea I was going for here. Is I wanted this to look like it was vintage paper. And once that ink dries, it kind of darkens up a little bit, and I'm going to cut it out using a stitched rectangle die, and I'm going to ink blend the edges with some vintage photo distress ink, and this is really going to give it that kind of old paper look and really emphasize the fact that this is old paper, and that's what I wanted to go for. I really thought it was a great combination to go with this Santa die. And I love the way that this looked, and I'm going to do a little bit of ink splattering with that same vintage photo just to give it a little bit more interest, again to make it look like some worn paper. And I think this turned out great. I'm probably going to use this technique again. Next, I'm going to get ready for the Santa. Now, there is a lot of dies in here, but the nice thing is they're nice and labeled, so you know what order you need to cut them out in. So I slowed the video down here for you so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So each of these dies, they tell you, what colors you need to use and then which order they go in. And so you know how to layer them up. You can use different colors of cardstock, you can ink blend, you can watercolor, anything like that. I've decided that I'm going to be using my Copic markers, and I tried it a couple of different ways, and the easiest way I found for me was to kind of scribble the ink on to some Copic friendly cardstock and then cut the dies out on top. And like I said, this was the best way I figured out how to do it. And then to figure out what space I needed to color, I kind of traced around the dies with a pencil of each of the images so I knew which colors I needed to use and how much space I needed to cover in order to get the die to cut out really well. So I'm just going to speed this up here. All of the colors that I used for my Santa are going to be listed along the side here, and I'm not doing any kind of intricate blending. I tried to a little bit here on Santa's face just to give it some interest, but in the end it doesn't really matter. You can just do simple colors. I wanted to blend his beard a little bit just because, just I guess to give it a little bit of texture. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm just following around where that tracing is at, where his hat is going to be, the little pom-pom on his hat, different things like that. This is the base color, so this will be the darkest, and then we're going to move into the lightest. And again, I wanted this to be the darkest color, so I just took the chisel tip of my Copic marker and I colored in all of those areas. Now it looks kind of crazy right now, and I was kind of second guessing myself here. I wasn't sure if this was the right way to go, but again, like I said, I tried it several different ways. I tried cutting out all of the images and Copic coloring them that way. That worked just as fine as well. A little hard to hold on to the dies, but you can do it. It's possible. You can again try it with different colors of cardstock. I don't have that many varieties of like white or warm colors of cardstock. So I figured doing the Copics would be a really good option. Again, you could use watercolor, you could use colored pencil, anything like that, any of your favorite color mediums to get the colors that you want. Once I had all the grays done, I went in with my reds or my greens. I can't remember. Oh, I did my greens first. I'm just using some nice Christmas greens. Again, no serious serious shading, because once you layer all of these on top, you get that nice tonal change with all of the different colors. And again, like I said, this looks like a hot mess to start with. It really does. But once you really start layering up the different elements and the colors, it turns out, oh my goodness, excuse me. It turns out really great, and I absolutely love this die. I created a couple of extra ones, and I might use them as decor. You could turn them into like an actual ornament. Maybe you put it on some really heavy cardstock and create like little ornaments for trees. You could put them in like a little frame for a picture, anything like that. This is such a sweet, sweet die. Now, once I had all of that coloring done, I'm going to take each of the dies and I'm going to line it up with the outline that I created. Now, the skin tone one, I kind of was a little bit off on it, but once I cut it out, I can totally fix it because the majority of the other stuff is going to be covered up. So I'm just going to line up all of those dies back over top of those outlines that I created. And the nice thing is that the die will cut inside of those lines, so you won't have to worry about seeing any pencil marks or trying to erase any pencil marks. Here you can see I've got all of my elements all cut out, and I just put them in these bowls so I didn't lose any pieces. That's always the worst, is whenever you do all that cutting and you lose some pieces. Next, I took a piece of a really heavy cardstock here. I think this is Simon's 120-pound cardstock, just so I had a nice sturdy base for the Santa to adhere to. And I just used the skin tone die to cut that part out. Again, here you can see we're going to get that lined up. And at first, it may not seem like it's going to come together, but once you get his face started and you put his red hat on, it is just fantastic. I'm super excited to bring you guys this series. I have been chomping at the bit to give you guys this series. I know that everyone is super thrilled about it. My Christmas in July series was such a huge success, and I know that's what you guys really look forward to, because mostly people make Christmas cards. That's how I got started with creating cards. Was I wanted to create my own Christmas cards, and this series is my favorite to do, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I've got a lot of really sweet images coming your way, lots of different varieties, some old stuff, some new stuff. I'm going to try some new techniques, different things like that. I'm going to attempt at creating some more interactive cards. So hopefully we can get through those together, because I know I've had a lot of requests for that. Once I had all of the white elements adhered here, you can kind of see he's starting to come together. This portion here is going to be like his eyebrows and the brim of his hat. And like I said, at first it kind of seems like, oh, this is a little weird. How is this going to make a Santa face? You know, where you have to figure out what to cut out, anything like that. But once you get him together, he is so sweet. I love his expression. He's got this big grin on his face, and he is the epitome of Santa to me. I know I mentioned last year in my series that Santa was my favorite. He still is my favorite. I've got Santa decor everywhere. I currently have a Santa picture hanging right above my craft space. I'm going to keep him there probably all year, or at least through till Christmas for my inspiration. So you can see here his beard is being layered up with all of these different dimensions, and you can really see the different textures and things come through, and I really think it's wonderful. Next we'll get his little eyebrows attached here. And I think I want to start asking each of you guys a question related to the holidays. It'll be a different question each video, and we'll address each question in the next video, so on and so forth. So my question to you all is, do you have any Christmas Eve traditions? Stuff that you do with your family every Christmas Eve. It's kind of become a staple in your home to do every year. We always like to read the night before Christmas. My dad did that when I was a kid, and we do it now with my children. And we're going to start a new Christmas tradition this year. We're going to be doing Christmas Eve boxes. So I'm really excited for those. The kids don't really know about them. They've seen me outside working on some things, but they're not really sure what it's for. So I'm excited to have them see those Christmas Eve boxes and get excited for Christmas. I'm going to go through and start adding in his face elements. I love the little half moon shapes for his eyes. It looks like he is laughing or, grinning, that sort of thing. It's always kind of a cute way to represent eyes or an expression. Next, I'm going to adhere his little glasses. I just cut these out of some gold cardstock that I had in my stash. You could use anything that you like. You could easily color them with Copics as well, but I really wanted to give him a nice gold pair of glasses. Once I get his glasses adhered down, I'm going to put an acrylic block on it just to make sure that it's nice and adhered, and I'm going to work on assembling his little hat. The nice thing about the hat is it's got a little bit of embossed detail, so you can line up all of the different layers so you get them in the right spot. And I really love this hat. I love all the different layers. I ended up getting a small spot on my last piece here from my katana, and I just covered it up with a little bit of Copic marker, and it was good to go. While those pieces are drying, I'm going to attach his little nose piece. And this piece is pretty tiny, and there isn't a whole lot of surface area for the little nose to adhere to because it's sitting on top of the glasses. So you just have a little bit of space on either side of the glasses frame for his nose to sit on. So you're going to be really careful, make sure you get it in the right spot. And I struggled a little bit with it getting it in the right location because it is so small. But once I had it in the correct location, I just put an acrylic block on it to make sure that it was held down until the glue dried, and then it stuck just fine. Next, I'm going to get the holly berry assembled here, and this one has some etching on it as well, so you can line up these small green pieces. And again, if you just take your time and you really look at all of the pieces, you can get these adhered nicely. And I really love the different dimensions and the look that all of these little pieces give you. At first it looks a little intimidating and you're not really sure you're doing it right, but it in the end turns out really nice. I did watch a short video that Sizzix came out with whenever this die was released. It's kind of a step-by-step on how to put them together. And that was a very helpful video to help me get this adhered correctly. I watched it a couple of times before I did my first trial run, and it, again, helped out quite a bit. So I'll make sure to link it for you guys so you can check it out as well. Now that I got that holly all assembled, we can put the final pieces of our Santa together. I think once you get his hat on, he really shines. He looks so sweet with that expression on his face, his big beard, and his rosy cheeks. It is so sweet. I was kind of giggling a little bit whenever I finished this because he was so perfect. I went out and showed my kids, and they loved it, and I think it is just fantastic. So while he's drying, we're going to go through and finish up our base, our card base here. I've got a top folding A2 sized card base, and I'm going to take our ink blended panel that we did at the beginning of the video, and I'm going to attach it to this just using some Tombow glue, and I, recycled some old paper here. It's nice to reuse things instead of throwing them away and wasting them. And I just love how that old paper looks. Looks great with him on there. Next, I've got the hand-painted Believe die from Simon Says Stamp, and I wanted at first to use the same gold glitter cardstock that I used on Santa's glasses, but I thought it kind of blended in a little bit too much, and I really wanted it to stand out. So I die cut 3 of the sentiment out of some heavyweight cardstock. This has become one of my favorite ways to add dimension to a sentiment instead of trying to fuss around with adhesive strips. I mean, I still do it sometimes, but this is a lot quicker for me. And then I decided to use red cardstock instead. This is some Simon Says Schoolhouse red cardstock, and I think this turns out so much better. I think it really pops off the scene a bit more, and it really stands out. And I like seeing a little bit of the white in the background as well. I could have die cut it all from the same red, but I wanted to have the white in the background. Gonna get the little dot on the eye done, and I just stacked those all up in my hand here so I didn't lose any of the pieces, and it worked out really well too. Just get all that lined up and then I can pop it on. Gonna adhere Santa down nice and flat. I don't add a whole lot of dimension to this just because I didn't want it to be too thick, and I think that there's a lot of dimension and texture with Santa and the background, and I think it turned out just fine. Get that little dot adhered, and then we're going to go in and add some finishing details. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm going to stamp the second portion of my sentiment. I'm sorry, I got a little bit ahead of myself. Oh no, I'm going to stamp it on the inside. Oh, see, I don't even know what I'm doing. I film all these and then I go back and I edit and do voiceovers later, so I always forget what I did. But I'm going to stamp the Believe in the Magic of Christmas, so that's what the whole greeting is going to say. And I just used some Simon Says Schoolhouse red cardstock, and I really think that kind of rounds out the whole card. Now I'm going to go in with my finishing details. I'm going to take this Stardust glitter brush, or glitter pen, excuse me, and add a little bit of shimmer to the holly leaves. Of course, add my favorite glitter brush to the die cut sentiment here. Makes it look like it's glitter cardstock. And I'm going to add a few of these holiday jewel mix from Pretty Pink Posh, excuse me. And I really think this kind of adds a nice bit of shimmer. Not too many pieces here. I just used the white, the red, and the green. I think it kind of rounds out the image as well. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some glossy accents to his glasses, because I really wanted these to look like glasses, like he had actual lenses in there. And I really think this adds to the image and really dresses him up. And that will finish up this card for today. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, hit the like button as well as the subscribe and the little notification bell so you don't miss out on any more videos during my Christmas series. I hope you enjoyed the video. I can't wait to share with you the next one, and I'll see you guys again real soon. Bye! On screen, I've got a few videos that I think you'll enjoy. Consider hitting the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more videos at my YouTube channel.